out there to separate themselves. Somehow the scientists in this camp are better than those who are in the woo camp.
Right.
There's this kind of superiority, like we
Right.
are going to stick to this. And when I started down this road, I approached it in more of a scientific thing, but I progressed into the whole picture of it, the metaphysical and physical.
Right.
But the bottom line is you're only going to get so far with just sticking with the physical world that we're existing, where it's at as a being. So you're missing you're going to study just the one part of a plant and never look at the seed or never look at anything else, the water and all the other things that make it become what it is.
Yeah.
And so they're really limited themselves. And I understand that in Meldrum's point of view because he's paid academic and he can't step off that platform.
Was he 100% in that?
He can't step off that platform. But the reality is, if you're going to grow as a researcher, if you're going to step in this room where we're at today, which few do, you've got to take a step from the physical and the metaphysical. You've got to take that step because you'll never fully understand what this being is. You'll only know half of it,
And so is it through your faith that you then were able to get in, not get in, but then just realize the awareness? Like, it's only until you say you commit in your heart and say
you commit
Jesus
to
or God is
it,
real, then
you commit to it, it's faith, but it's also, this is the Native American way. We're here on Barry's
invitation,
goodwill for us
sure.
to be here to learn and grow through this process.
Yeah.
They've been saying this all along.
Yeah.
We're the deniers of it.
Yeah,
They've been saying this
historically,
all along.
that is exactly
we're figured it out?
Right.
No, they had it figured out.
Right.
They've always had it figured out.
Right.
We're just the idiots that are slow to get to it.
Right.
What's this thing you're talking about?
So
It's not in the book.
I guess that's where I get, and you're 100% right saying there's two camps, because that's what they.
And I don't know either, I'm just parroting
That's
the
what,
podcast.
that's what they're saying, that's what they're, wanting people to say, and that's the way that they're framing it.
Right.
But since I've embraced this, I've had to walk away from a few. I mean, I've been in groups with all the supposed top researchers, and we had Igor Burtsev here, and he's totally on the same page as we are. He absolutely believes in what we're doing, but he's almost shunned to some extent from some of these other scientific researchers because they won't embrace this other side, and they call it woo, and they try to, the fact that they call it woo instead of metaphysical or things happening. But there are some good people out there. Ron Moorhead is, written upon Bigfoot,
Right.
but he's not necessarily, the most popular one scientific-wise is still Meldrum, and there's limitations that you're going to grow as a person.
There's a lot of these people, including Meldrum, they've never seen it.
Yeah, this is somebody who's never seen him. And when we had him here, we had Meldrum here.
Doesn't matter how many PhDs you have.
Right.
The first time he'd ever had like a wood knock, wasn't it? When we had him here, and he was absolutely, intrigued by the whole thing with the wood knock. And then we went back there later and did some research, and then Barry showed him some tree and stick structures too, and he was, going in physically grabbing them and looking at it, and that kind of baffled him too at that time. This was 2017, so, but he'd been doing research for over 20-some years, 25 years at that point, and these are some, to us, basic things that we've been experiencing for a long time that he had not.
Right.
He had not. So it was either he has kind of limited himself and experiencing these things, or they're not allowing him to experience it. But a lot of the big researchers too were just like tree and stick structures. They had issue with it. They didn't fully understand or believe that they could, this could just be nature. How do you know it's them? So even that sort of thing, you have to go out and study it. I went to Colorado, I went to New Mexico, I went all over Iowa, and learned these same structures are being built in these same areas.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
You start to see it.
Same thing.
Yeah,
I saw the
crazy
same
thing.
things in the mountains of New Mexico and Colorado as I did along the Missouri River here. X's, arches, all of that stuff.
Now, arches, would you mean like what, do they bend a tree like a whole
Yeah, they'll
tree
take
over and
a
top
sapling
over it?
or a, even a fairly decent sized tree, which is a deciduous hardwood tree, and they can bend it over and hold it, like put a log or a rock there and hold it down.
Yeah.
And so the fact to even do that, we simply wouldn't be able to. Some of these big ones, you just can't do that.
Right.
The strength it would take to do that.
Sure.
And have something big enough to hold it down. But even just smaller saplings, they'll do that, like directional markers and stuff like that. It's clearly it isn't wind doing it.
Right.
There's something holding it down, they're putting it in place. So these kind of things, only through experience do you fully gain knowledge of it. And you go out there and you did it, and that's what I've done. I know I don't have to go, I've done all that. I come here, because this is where the growth takes place. And this is, all these things are here. Everything I've seen everywhere else, they're all here. And Peter will say the same thing. He's in southern Sierra Nevada mountains. This is just as good.
Yeah.
It may even be better.
Better.
It's better.
In the
So,
Sierras.
Yeah.
Famous, right?
Yeah. Jeez. It's different. It's completely different, I would say.
Here you go, brother.
Is there that? Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're ready.
Yeah.
You can go from here.
Okay.
Live.
I'm gonna do, we won't.
Here's this.
This is on red squatching now, so everything's going directly
Oh,
to it.
okay.
Man, you guys just had a great discussion there, man.
Yeah, we'll get it going again.
That
It's
should
so
have
good.
been on there.
Just get Rich.
Well, I got my recorder. I always record everything.
Yeah.
I got that right.
So Rich can, once Rich gets going, then we can all
Yeah.
jump in.
So what do you want me to talk about? You want me to talk about, are we talking about our experiences? So you want me to talk about the cable crossing? The bluff charge?
Yeah.
That's all good.
I mean, it's Friday night, you can tee it up, hey,
Yeah, tee it up.
You want me to do
One of
that?
the most common things I get is like, let's hear a story, let's hear this. And I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I'll kick it off. I'll get everything started.
Okay.
Now, if it shuts off again, the damn charger is just not working.
How do you usually, you don't do this, do you?
No.
No, you go like that.
Yeah.
Would it film like this? Like on the page?
I think so.
Okay. Oh, no, sorry, it just told me it's not supported. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Oh, it's saying 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Hi, this is Barry Webster, Red Squatching Research. I'm here tonight with Richard Soule,
Oh,
Peter Angeletti,
Oh.
members of the Red Squatching Research team, and tonight we wanted to come on and just share some of the comments and the questions we get about what were some of the most memorable moments you've had, and we'll attempt to do that tonight. We'll get started here with Brother Richard Soule. Rich, tell us a little bit about, maybe one of your most memorable encounters.
I think we were staying in this very cabin that night, but I can't remember what year it was. It must have been like 2018, something like that. We went out, started on one of our night ops, and we decided, kind of always have a plan on what we're going to look at or what we're going to do. And at that time, we thought we would do something by the water. And we first went down to the Missouri River over on this side of us, north. So we went down there and we were talking and stuff, and Barry said, I've got another spot I think that'll be interesting. Why don't we go over there? So we went to Cable Crossing, and it's kind of a little oxbow that is, I don't know how many, few miles from where we're at right now. And we drove over there, and when we got there, we got out of the vehicle, and we were talking, and Barry had seen in the tree line what we thought something swinging in the tree. So we were kind of focused on that and looking at it, and then there was a little, as you go into where Cable Crossing is, there is this oxbow of kind of an inlet of the Missouri River. So it's kind of a protected little area from wind and all that. There was a ledge that we would walk down onto. And so we were watching what we thought something was swinging between the trees, and then we're like, well, let's go down to this ledge, go down by the water. As we walked down, started down to walk on this to where the ledge was, we heard two distinct noises of dive two things diving into the water, and it sounded pretty big. They sounded like large entities of something that just, and it kind of caught us off guard. Like we did not expect to hear anything like that. So we got down on this ledge. It was pretty dark, but immediately Barry's like, I could see there's something swimming out there. And I had my FLIR, I actually took a few shots of it, and we kind of caught a little bit of something in the water. You could see that it was out a little bit of ways from us, but it was moving around in the water. And I think Barry said it was almost like zigzagging. So after a little bit watching this, all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I guess the closest thing that I can relate this to as far as what it sounded like, if you were to have a orca whale just piercing through the water and pushing the wake towards you, that's what it felt like, it sounded like. At the same time, while this immense surge of water was coming towards us, a huge voluminous roar came out, and literally it almost went through us, but it was just surrounding the whole area. And Barry and I were, in shock, to say the least. And we've stood our ground many times of various type bluff charges, that sort of thing, noise, stomping, things like that. But this was incredible because it was coming from the water. It was a surge of water coming towards us, and it was this voluminous yell or scream at us. And I don't know, it was like if you had like a dinosaur, like a T-Rex or something, it was something huge noise that was coming our way. So it hit us, and we were both shocked. We were like, this is, whoa, we got to take a step back. I, in my own mind, thought something was going to jump up on that ledge, and it was going to be a big, hairy Citonga, and I literally thought if that was the case, it might be it for me. So the fact that all of this happened, the sound died, and the wake kind of disappeared, we knew at that moment, Barry and I looked at each other, we were like, let's go, it's time to go. So we hiked back up out of there and got out of there, and that was one of the few times we've truly retreated in one of these situations. But it was a roar, it was a bluff charge, the wake of like an orca that came at us, and it happened at Cable Crossing. So that's my story.
Thank you, Rich. I got a little hypnotized with that story. All right, thank you, Rich. That was Richard Soule. Our next presenter will be one of our newest members, Peter Angeletti. And Peter, talk to us a little bit about, some of your most memorable encounters here.
Yeah, I've had a couple. Well, let's see now. The one that I think is important to talk about is one, this was in Mendocino, up in the Northern California. And I was spending an overnight with some family friends up at a farm there. And the friend was talking to me about that there's some animal that they see all the time. I wasn't sure what he was talking about, and he brought me down to the garden. We did not see anything there, but later that day he asked if we wanted to, if I wanted to spend the night in a treehouse, so we went down and climbed the ladder, rickety ladder, 20 feet off the ground, sort of a triangular treehouse, and we got our sleeping bags and we went to sleep, and everything was good until sometime after midnight. Then I saw something in the window. This place was plywood, and it had cut out, for windows. And there was something hanging upside down, looking in the window at me. And so I thought that can't be real, It was. I thought it was. I thought it was my imagination. I tried to go back to sleep, you know. But then probably 5-10 minutes later, I'm laying there and I notice that it feels like like there's rain, and I'm getting wet. And I realize that I'm being peed on. And then I reached over, because I don't know what's going on, I reached over and touched something furry. It was a foot. Okay. And then this thing, once I touched its foot, it reeled around and I could hear its, toenails scratching on the floor, and it reeled around in front of me. And at that point I could see the silhouette of the thing in front of me. And I could see that it wasn't that tall. It was really probably my height, And I didn't know what I was looking at, right? And so I asked it, "What are you?" And it squealed back at me with like jabbering language that is not intelligible to humans, right? So, but he was saying something to me, which obviously I think it meant something like, "Don't touch me." So it was really a shocking experience, and at that time, my friend woke up. And so he was familiar with these animals, and he was trying to scare it away. So he made sort of a motion toward the animal, and it ran to the door and jumped the 20 feet to the ground. And we heard it make a loud cry as it ran away. And then I asked, "Is it gone?" And he said, "Yes, it's gone." And somehow or other we went back to sleep. But the next morning I asked, "What happened last night?" And he said, "I don't want to talk about it." So that's my story, believe it or not.
Wow, that's a good story, Peter. Thank you for sharing, brother. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank Richard Soule and Peter Angeletti, Red Squatching Research. We thank you for listening. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Oh.
Very nice, very nice. You got an incredible for the